You're right, and this drives me to one thing that I've considered for a while, which is that given Bitcoin's scaling limitations, on-chain scaling limitations, and given that the first 10 years of Bitcoin's growth have been heavily centered around, well, maybe not the first 10, but the first couple of years were not KYC heavy. But then, arguably, 2013 to now, the vast majority of Bitcoin growth has come from KYC sources. A majority of coins right now exist either on exchanges or on basically one hop off of an exchange. And so they're relatively straightforward to track. So if you believe Chainalysis, I believe they say they think they can identify something like 80 or 90% of Bitcoin's ownership just by following simple steps, because like it or not, again, this isn't me endorsing this, the reality is the vast majority of money that has come into Bitcoin over the last 10 years has come in through KYC means. And like it or not, this ledger is public, it's trackable, it's immutable. And so we have a full record of all the transactions from day one. We know exactly each coin, each Satoshi since its inception and how it's moved around. So you can track this by, and I wonder if what ends up happening is that we end up with many thousands of essentially financial institutions that are dealing with Bitcoin, and they all have public balances and public accounts. In that we end up in a world in which the vast majority of people say use the Lightning nodes of use Lightning in order to transact, but the on-chain transactions are effectively something that is carried out only by these large financial institutions. They're the equivalent of central banks, but they're going to be far more decentralized. Instead of living in a world of 200 central banks, but practically really one actual central bank that is a full node, we'd have a world with, say, 10,000 full nodes, 10,000 Bitcoin full nodes that open and close channels on Lightning. And these are all in the public record, in that everybody knows this, this is Darin's bank, and you guys have 500 Bitcoins, and these are your these are all your addresses, these are all the coins that were received, all the coins that were paid. And so it becomes very straightforward for somebody who deals with your bank or somebody who deals with another bank to do financial audits basically with public information. Just look at the Bitcoin blockchain and you see this bank has had this much payment come in from that bank, and it's sold this many goods. So you could check if there's any shenanigans going on. You could check if they're issuing any Bitcoin backed instruments that are not backed by Bitcoin. This stuff becomes easier and easier with this kind of situation. So I'm wondering, what do you think? Like, are we headed to this kind of world where Bitcoin continues to operate safely and securely, but everything on the main chain is auditable and identifiable, meaning linked to somebody's identity? Do you think we're headed there? Do you think there's something that stops that?
There's a lot to unpack there. The chain. So there's positives and negatives about having a public chain of transactions, and the positive is that everything's trackable, everything's audited, and every party to the chain transactions, and even third parties that have that are not directly associated with the transactions, they can audit every transaction. And so the public nature of the transaction list is a net positive to me, because that allows us to have the first immutable record publicly available for everybody to see. And if you're a citizen of a government and the government has $50 billion of citizens' money, the only way for you to know truly how they spent that or where it went to, it would be to have a public immutable ledger. And so far, this is the only public immutable ledger. So, there's various sizes of businesses. Like, is a pizza place going to go on the Bitcoin network? No. But are large government transactions Are the citizens one day going to ask for them to be on a mutable record? I think maybe likely so. And so the public nature of the network is a massive net positive that is going to result in the massive growth and adoption of the network.